If you take a blood pressure pill, you have almost certainly seen the headline, "Take it at the wrong time of day," some videos warn, and you could be quietly doubling your risk of a heart attack or a stroke. Take it at the right time, they promise, and you could nearly cut that risk in half. It is a frightening claim, and it is a hopeful one, and it has been repeated so many times that it now sounds like settled fact. So, let me tell you what actually happened when researchers put that claim to a proper test, because they did test it. In one of the largest trials of its kind ever run, more than 20,000 people followed for years, and the honest answer they found is not the one in those headlines. It is more reassuring than the scare, and in one specific way, it is far more useful. There is a genuinely dangerous way to take your blood pressure medication, but it has almost nothing to do with the hour on the clock, and almost everything to do with something nobody is talking about. Let me make this concrete with the kind of case these questions come from. Picture a man in his 70s. Call him Walter. A composite, not a real patient, but a completely ordinary one. Walter takes one pill each morning for his blood pressure, and has for years. Then a well-meaning relative sends him a video, insisting he is taking it at the wrong time, that bedtime is far safer. So Walter, wanting to do the right thing, quietly switches his pill to 9 at night without telling anyone. His pill happens to be a water pill, and within a week he is up twice a night, shuffling to the bathroom in the dark, and one of those nights he catches his hip on the doorframe. Nothing was broken that time. But hold on to Walter, because his story contains almost everything that is actually true about this topic, and almost nothing that was in the video that frightened him. Stay with me, because I'm going to walk you through exactly what the science says, where the famous claim came from, why the experts stopped trusting it, and then the real timing mistakes that actually can put an older adult in danger. The ones worth bringing to your doctor. A quick and important note before we go on. This channel is for general education, not medical advice, and I am not your doctor. Nothing here is a diagnosis or a prescription. And this matters more in this video than in almost any other I make. So please hear it clearly. Do not change the time you take your blood pressure pill. Do not skip it, and do not stop it based on anything in this video. If something here raises a question for you, the answer is to bring that question to your doctor or pharmacist, not to run an experiment on yourself tonight. I will come back to this at the end, because it is the single most important thing I will say. Before we start, tell me in the comments how old you are and where you are watching from. I read every one, and they shape what I cover next. And stay with me to the part near the end about getting up in the night, because that is where the real danger for older adults actually lives. And it is the one almost no video about this ever mentions. First, let me explain the kernel of truth underneath the whole scare, because it is real, and it is why this idea was believable in the first place. Your blood pressure is not a single fixed number. It follows a daily rhythm, a tide that rises and falls across 24 hours. During deep sleep, in most healthy people, it dips down. The body resting, the pressure easing. Then in the hours around dawn, as you begin to wake, it climbs, sometimes steeply. Doctors call that climb the morning surge. And here is the part that gave the theory its power. Heart attacks and strokes are not spread evenly across the day. They cluster in those early morning hours, right around that surge. So you can see the logic. If the danger clusters in the morning, and if a pill taken at night might blunt that morning surge, then surely nighttime dosing should save lives. There's even a real medical concept underneath it that I want you to know about, because it is genuine. In most healthy people, blood pressure dips at night during sleep. Doctors call those people dippers. But in some people, it does not dip the way it should, and those non-dippers do carry higher cardiovascular risk. That part is real science. It is what made the whole chronotherapy idea worth testing in the first place. The leap that turned out to be shaky was not the existence of nighttime patterns. It was the promise that simply moving your ordinary pill to bedtime would fix them and save your life. It is a clean, elegant, sensible-sounding theory. Hold on to that word, theory, because this is exactly the kind of idea that feels so right that people forget to check whether it is actually true. Think of it like a perfectly reasonable hunch about which road home will be fastest. It makes sense on the map. It feels obvious. But until you actually drive both roads and time them, it is only a guess. And medicine is littered with sensible-sounding guesses that turned out to be wrong the moment somebody finally measured them properly. The morning surge is real. The clustering of heart attacks in the morning is real. The leap from those two facts to nighttime dosing saves lives is the part that had never actually been measured well. It just sounded true. So where did the dramatic version come from? In 2019, a large study out of Spain, called the Hygia chronotherapy trial, reported something stunning. It claimed that patients who took their blood pressure medication at bedtime had roughly 45% fewer major cardiovascular events than those who took it in the morning, including dramatically fewer deaths, nearly cutting cardiovascular risk in half, simply by changing the hour. That is an enormous claim. It made headlines around the world, and it is the source of nearly every video you have seen telling you that you are taking your pill at the wrong time. And here is where I have to do the thing that most channels in this space will never do. I have to tell you what happened next, because that study did not hold up to scrutiny. When independent experts examined it closely, serious concerns emerged. The effect it reported was so large that it strained belief, bigger than what you would expect, even from powerful medications, produced by nothing more than changing the time of day. The journal that published it, the European Heart Journal, took the unusual step of issuing a formal expression of concern. Other researchers pointed out that the rate of events reported in the study was many times higher than what is normally seen in similar populations, and that key details of how the trial was actually conducted were unclear or missing. I am not here to accuse anyone of anything, but when a single study reports a result that seems too good to be true, and the wider expert community cannot verify how it was done, the honest response is caution, not a headline. So the scientific world did the right thing. It did not take that one study's word for it. It ran a better test. In the United Kingdom, researchers designed a trial called Time, a large, rigorous, carefully conducted study. They enrolled more than 20,000 people with high blood pressure, randomly assigned half to take their medication in the morning and half in the evening, and then followed them for years to count exactly what everyone actually cares about: heart attacks, strokes, and deaths. This was the clean experiment. And when the results came in 2022, they were about as clear as science ever gets. There was no meaningful difference. The morning group and the evening group had essentially the same rate of heart attacks, strokes, and cardiovascular death. Taking the pill at night did not cut anyone's risk in half. It did not cut it at all. The dramatic promise simply was not real. But the trial did find two small, honest, human differences that are worth knowing. And they cut in an interesting direction. People in the evening group were slightly less likely to report feeling faint or dizzy, but they were more likely to report being woken by the need to use the bathroom. In other words, the real trade-offs of timing were never about heart attacks at all. They were about sleep and steadiness and comfort. The ordinary quality of life things that actually shape an older adult's day. That is the level at which timing genuinely matters. And notice how far it is from the life or death headline. And it did not stop there, because good science keeps checking. In Canada, a set of trials called BedMed asked the very same question and reached the very same answer. No meaningful difference in outcomes between morning and evening dosing. Then, in 2024, researchers pooled the major trials together, tens of thousands of patients across 5 studies, and confirmed it. once more. No difference in heart attacks, strokes, or deaths based on the time of day you take your pill. And notably, the trials that had originally suggested a big benefit were the ones the reviewers judged to have the most problems in how they were run. So let me say the honest bottom line plainly, because you have earned it after all those headlines. For the vast majority of people, the specific hour you take your blood pressure medication does not appear to meaningfully change your risk of a heart attack or a stroke. That is not me downplaying it. That is what the best and largest evidence we have actually shows. If you appreciate getting the honest version of this, the one that tells you when a scary claim did not survive testing, type the number 9 in the comments. It genuinely helps this reach more people who are only getting the frightening headline everywhere else. And if you have a friend who has been anxiously switching their pills to bedtime because of a video, this is the one to send them. Now, if the hour on the clock is not the real danger, you might reasonably ask why I titled this video the way I did. Here's why. Because there absolutely are dangerous ways to take your blood pressure medication. They are just not the ones in the headlines. They are quieter, they are real, and for an older adult, they matter far more than morning versus night ever could. Let me walk you through them because this is the part that can actually protect you. The first real danger is the one I promised you, and it is the reason this whole topic matters for older adults specifically. It is the water pill taken too late in the day. Many people with high blood pressure take a type of medication called a diuretic, a water pill, something like hydrochlorothiazide or furosemide. These work by making your body shed excess fluid, which means they make you urinate more. Now, follow the chain, because every link of it is real. If that pill is taken too close to bedtime, it does its work overnight. So you wake at 2 in the morning, and again at 4, needing the bathroom. It is dark. You are half asleep. And here is the part that ties it to everything else. When you stand up quickly from a warm bed, your blood pressure can briefly drop. A completely normal effect, made stronger by the very medication you are taking to lower it. So now you have an older adult, in the dark, unsteady, half asleep, with momentarily lowered blood pressure, walking to a bathroom. That is not a small thing. That is one of the most common ways a serious fall happens. And a fall at this age can be far more life-changing than the blood pressure ever was. Interestingly, this is one of the few places the big trial did notice a difference. People taking their medication in the evening reported needing the bathroom overnight more often. So the practical wisdom here is old, simple, and sound. A water pill is usually best taken earlier in the day, so its work is done well before your head hits the pillow. But, and I cannot say this strongly enough, that is a conversation for your doctor or pharmacist, who knows exactly which medication you take and why. Do not move it yourself. And let me draw the honest line here between a nuisance and a real hazard, because it matters. Getting up once a night is a nuisance. Getting up 2 or 3 times, unsteady, in the dark, half asleep, with your blood pressure briefly dropping each time you stand. That is not a nuisance. That is a fall waiting for its moment. If that is happening to you, you are not imagining it and you are not being fussy. It is one of the most fixable problems in all of this, and the fix is often as simple as moving one pill a few hours earlier, or keeping a light and a clear path to the bathroom, or a bedside commode. But the pill part of that fix runs through your pharmacist or doctor. The light and the clear path you can arrange tonight, and you should. The second real danger is what I would call the panic double dose, and it comes from a good intention. You take your pill every morning. One day, you genuinely cannot remember whether you took it. So, wanting to be responsible, you take one to be safe. Or you check your blood pressure, see a number that alarms you, and take an extra pill to bring it down faster. Both of these feel careful. Both can be dangerous. Taking a double dose can drop your blood pressure too low, which brings on dizziness, weakness, and there it is again, the risk of a fall. And using your home monitor to chase a single high reading with extra medication is a genuine trap, because a single high reading is often just noise. Your blood pressure naturally jumps around from moment to moment. It rises if you are anxious, if you just climbed the stairs, if you are in pain, if you just had coffee. One high number on the monitor is usually not an emergency and is almost never a reason to take an unplanned extra pill. The safe approach to a missed dose and the safe approach to a scary reading are both things to work out in advance with your doctor, so you have a plan and never have to guess in the moment. Here is a good general instinct, though your doctor's advice for you comes first. For most once-daily blood pressure pills, if you remember within a few hours, you take it. And if it is already close to the next day's dose, you simply skip the missed one and carry on. You never double up to catch up. But do not take my general instinct as your personal rule. Ask for your rule, write it down, and keep it on the fridge so that on the morning you cannot remember, you are reading a plan instead of making a nervous guess. The third real danger is quietly stopping or drifting off your medication when you feel fine. This is the most dangerous mistake of all, and it is the exact opposite of a timing error. It is the ultimate one. High blood pressure has earned a grim nickname, the silent killer. It earned it because it does its damage to your arteries, your heart, your kidneys, your brain, without producing any symptoms at all, often for years. So when someone feels perfectly well and thinks, "I feel fine, I probably do not need this pill anymore," and lets it slide, they are making a heartbreaking mistake. Feeling fine is not evidence. The pressure is controlled. Feeling fine is often evidence the medication is working exactly as designed. The whole point of the pill is that you feel nothing while it quietly protects you. Never let feeling well talk you out of the thing that is keeping you well. If you ever believe you no longer need your medication, that is a wonderful conversation to have with your doctor, and only with your doctor. Sometimes, genuinely, the answer is yes. If you have lost weight, changed your diet, become more active, a doctor may be able to lower a dose or simplify your regimen, and that is a real and happy possibility. But it is done carefully, with monitoring, on purpose, not by simply letting the prescription lapse because you felt, well, 1 month. The difference between those two things is the difference between medicine and a gamble. There is a fourth situation worth 30 seconds because it stacks on top of everything else. Your blood pressure pill does not act alone in your body. A warm evening, a hot bath or shower, a glass of wine, a big meal, standing up fast. Every one of these lowers blood pressure a little on its own. Put 2 or 3 of them together with your medication on a summer evening, and the dizziness that follows when you rise from the couch is not a mystery. It is addition. You do not need to fear any single one of these. You just want to be aware that they add up, and to stand up slowly. Genuinely. Count to 3 before you walk. Whenever a few of them line up at once. Standing up slowly is free, it is safe, and for an older adult on blood pressure medication, it prevents more trouble than almost any timing trick ever could. So now let me answer the question the honest way, the way the evidence actually supports. Is there a most dangerous time to take your blood pressure pill? For most people, the dangerous thing is not an hour on the clock. The dangerous things are a water pill sending you stumbling to the bathroom in the dark, a well-meaning double dose chasing a scary reading with an extra pill, and quietly giving up on a medication because you feel fine. Those are the real risks, and every one of them is preventable. Think back to Walter. Nothing about the hour hurt him. 9 at night was not some cursed time. What hurt him was moving a water pill to bedtime without asking anyone. So it worked against him in the dark. His mistake was not bad timing. It was a good intention, acted on alone, without the one conversation that would have caught it in 10 seconds. That conversation is the whole point of this video. Which points to the thing that genuinely does matter more than timing. And it is almost boringly simple. The best time to take your blood pressure medication is the time you will actually take it, reliably, every single day, without forgetting. That is the finding underneath all the others. In the big trials, what protected people was not the magic hour. It was taking the medication consistently, day after day, year after year. A pill taken faithfully every morning beats a pill taken at the theoretically perfect midnight that you keep forgetting. And this is not a small effect hiding behind the timing debate. It may be the whole game. Missing doses, taking a medication erratically, running out and not refilling for a week, those lapses do real, measurable harm to blood pressure control, far more than any question of morning versus evening. The entire energy that has gone into the wrong time scare would have been better spent on the far more common and far more dangerous problem of pills that simply do not get taken. So if attaching it to breakfast or to brushing your teeth is what makes you never miss it, that consistency is worth more than any clever timing trick you will ever read about. Here's your plan, and it is short. First, do not change anything today based on this video. Second, take everything we discussed to your next appointment or to your pharmacist this week. The pharmacist is often the easiest expert to reach, and you usually need no appointment at all. Ask them 3 simple questions. 1. Is any of my medication a water pill? And if so, what time of day is best for me to take it? 2. What exactly should I do if I miss a dose, so I never have to guess? And 3. Is the time I currently take my medication a good fit for my particular situation? Those 3 questions, asked once, settle this entire topic for you, with a real person who knows your real medications. And now the safety rule one final time, because it is the most important sentence in this video, and I want it to be the one you carry out the door. Do not change the timing of your blood pressure medication on your own. Do not skip it. Do not double it. Do not stop it because you feel fine. Every one of those carries more real risk than the clock ever did. This video is a set of questions to bring to your doctor, not a set of changes to make by yourself tonight. So tell me in the comments, had you heard the claim that taking your pill at night could cut your risk in half? And were you surprised to learn how that story actually turned out? I read every reply, and yours might be the one that reassures the next anxious person scrolling past. And if this was useful, if you would rather have the true version than the scary one, then watch the companion video next on how to take your blood pressure at home correctly so that the numbers you are reacting to are actually numbers worth trusting. I will see you in that one. Take good care of yourself. You are worth the effort.